Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a review of the long-awaited XM2w 4K. One of the cool new touches from Endgame Gear, the packaging is actually the carrying case. And the carrying case here is pretty functional. It's pretty heavy duty. You could throw this in a backpack and whatever's inside I'm sure will probably be okay. But Endgame Gear logo here. When you open it up, the cable does fit perfectly here on the right side. Dongle fits perfectly here at the top. You got the Dark Frost colorway mouse here, which I chose. And then you do get an extra pair of skates in the box, instruction manual on how to change the onboard functions like DPI and the Hertz polling rate, which you can change on the mouse itself without opening the software. But one of the cool things is the dongle actually matches the Dark Frost colorway on the mouse. And it's really a cool touch. You can see the circuitry, the chips there on the dongle itself. Everything just matching perfectly together. And of course, the Dark Frost colorway on the XM2 itself just looks really, really epic. When I posted a picture of the XM2w 4K early on Twitter, a lot of people were like concerned about the weight. A lot of the comments were, the mouse is too heavy at 63 grams, which is the advertised weight of the XM2w 4K. So I want to address the elephant in the room first, and that is weight. My Dark Frost comes in at 60 grams, but you guys can see I am rocking a 4-dot orientation here, 2 on top, 2 on bottom. It's what I like because I'm using glass and testing glass right now. I'll have a review of the beast soon. But I've never picked up this mouse and felt that the 60 grams would be something that would deter me from using the mouse or something that would affect my in-game performance. It just doesn't. It's kind of like, to me, one of those things where it's kind of just an adjustment. If I'm going lighter or if I'm going heavier, it's almost like a sensitivity adjustment. But 60 grams to me has never been something where I've picked it up and said this is too heavy, and I certainly don't get that perception here on the XM2w 4K. To me, the things that are important, the coding, the button implementation, and as long as the weight balance is good. To me, the weight balance here is perfectly fine. My performance in game was phenomenal. I never felt like whipping this thing around. The weight balance felt off to me, or that I felt it too far front forward or back forward. But I would say, like, when you pick the mouse up, it does feel like a noticeable 60 grams. In comparison to something like the G Pro Superlight Dex, when you pick it up, it felt a little bit lighter than its advertised weight. So keep that in mind. It does feel like a noticeable 60 grams. So moving to something like a Maya X is a noticeable in-hand feel difference with weight. And if I could get this at the weight of the Maya X, like, would I do it? Yes. But again, it's just not something that affects me that I notice with my in-game performance. So it's not something that would detract me from using the XM2w 4K. Now, the performance of this mouse is great. Again, it's rocking and everything is here on the bottom of the mouse. But in terms of the coding, it is the really good coding from Endgame Gear that I am used to, that I'm very fond of, that I love. I recently reviewed, again, the XM2 8K. So if you guys want to see some more commentary that I have about the shape, you can check out that video. But it's rocking those KLGX switches, a TTC silver encoder, 3395 sensor. Again, the 4K performance, the 4K implementation. I had no stutters, no performance issues, no dropouts, etc. Everything felt good in that regard. It's got a Nordic MCU, and in terms of the scroll wheel with that TTC silver encoder, it feels really good. It's a little bit like dampened, so it's not scratchy at all like some of the other mice that we've seen recently. And it's got noticeable defined steps up and down, and it just scrolls very smoothly. So the scroll wheel is really well implemented. One of the things, though, that's really interesting to me is this middle mouse button is really tactile. I don't know what it's using, but it feels exceptionally poppy, crisp, and really, really good. Probably one of the best mouse 3s that I've had on a mouse. So whatever it is, they should implement it again in the future because it's absolutely fantastic. In terms of the KLGX switches here, they felt a little bit more crispy to me on the XM2 8K, but on this particular mouse as well, just super, super crispy, really well implemented with the buttons feeling really consistent from the bottom all the way to the top. I would say just a little bit more dense towards the very, very bottom, but really, really consistent as you just get slightly higher and all the way to the top. Pre and post travel are so minimal here, which is really like the other implementations as well. Just really, really good in that regard. And my side flex is literally non-existent on mouse 2, just a little bit on mouse 1, but nothing that I would ever feel in game. Like when I'm spraying, I just don't feel it moving or flexing at all. So it's a very good implementation of the buttons. The side buttons are using Kale GM 2.0s, and they feel fantastic. When I hit these side buttons in the sweet spot, again, just really crispy, really poppy, really tactile, a great feedback on the side buttons. And unless I hit them really, really far towards the bottom, really, really far towards the top, I don't notice any post-travel at all. So if you're somebody who is hitting them in the sweet spot, they feel fantastic with like literally almost no pre or post-travel. So the button implementation, exceptional. The coding, phenomenal. The performance here, whipping it around and in-game, the weight balance felt perfectly acceptable. And everything here, very well implemented on the XM2 4K. So if you've been waiting for a wireless implementation that feels phenomenal, they definitely have delivered. I know it took a long time, it took a while, and I'm sure we'll see some implementations in the future that get lighter to appease a lot of us. But for right now, this feels very good. So guys, that's going to be it for the XM2w 4K. Again, it is at 60 grams with the skate implementation that I'm using. It is a more noticeable 60 in terms of its feeling in the weight in comparison to something like the G Pro Superlight Dex. But overall, its performance in game, whipping it around, I had absolutely no issues at all. And if you were waiting for a great wireless XM2 implementation with 4K, they've definitely delivered. The internals are great, the button implementation is really good, and the coding, like we see from Endgame, is awesome on the Dark Frost. I have the OP1 8K in purple. I haven't really used it a lot yet. If you guys want to see a review of this next, let me know. I do have a few other things that I have to wrap up first, but I'm definitely going to start diving into that in the near future. I hope it helped, guys. If it did, please leave a sub to the channel. See you guys in the next review. Peace.